My name is Gudrun from GE Designs. Welcome to our live show, Tipsy Tuesday. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our live show, Tipsy Tuesday. We are live. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being with us, whether you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook. And if you are new around here, make sure you like our page, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss the show. We got lots of fun going on here on Tuesdays and other days of the week.
That's right.
Especially Tuesdays. And Mr. HP runs the show. Say hi to him, everybody.
Hey, everybody. How y'all
My
doing?
honey. There he is. So we got lots of fun of the show today, for sure. Revealing some new things, which I know you're going to be excited about. But stick around to the end. We have a giveaway question at the end, so everybody has a chance to win a $25 gift card just by watching our show and answering our giveaway question at the end of the show. And make sure you comment throughout the show. Give us some love, people, please. We love it. How are you doing today?
You know, I'm not too shabby.
No, it's good because our air conditioning is fixed now.
Oh my goodness.
2 days in Florida without AC.
We're
It was a
initiated.
bit steamy.
We're initiated. It's back
Yes.
when I was a kid, you know, I didn't have air conditioning.
Okay, so you were
It
you
felt
weren't
like,
complaining too hard about it.
felt like home. Just a fan,
Felt,
fan in
felt
the
like
window.
the old days.
Fan in the window, blowing in the hot air.
Fan in the window, blowing hot air in. Yeah. Luckily we had a fan in our bedroom, so I was windswept when I woke up this morning. I don't like that, but you know what? It worked. But here we are, and nice and chilled today, finally. We are going to be launching a brand new product today on the show. I'm also kicking off a little bit of a segment for my tip of the day, a multi-part segment. So I'm excited about that. And of course, I'll be showing you some new fabrics. So excited to have you with us. Now, let's start by announcing our winner from last week. So I asked you a question, what have you done ruler work on your sewing machine? We had Nina Klotfelder on our show last week. She gave us some great tips and just a peek into the world of quilting free motion with on your domestic machine with rulers. Something I haven't tried yet, but now I'm inspired and I want to try it. But our winner of the $25 gift card is...
Drum roll.
Come on. Gwen Welliver. Congratulations, Gwen. Her answer was, I've never done any ruler work. I would like to try it sometime. So, of course, go ahead and try it. And yeah, so Gwen, to claim your gift card, send us an email to help@gequiltdesigns.com and we will get you that right away. Right away. Now, speaking of ruler work, Nina is coming to the GE headquarters for our FanFest and teaching 2 classes. Her ruler work class is sold out.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's sold out really fast, but we still have some spot for her free motion class, but that was very exciting. We do have her rulers on the website, though, if anybody wants to try it. But we had a fun weekend. We had 2 kids in the house, plus a furry one. And we celebrated Svana's graduation on Saturday. We had some good food on, no, it was on Sunday. Graduation was on Sunday. We had some good food on Saturday.
Yeah.
That was really good.
What was that place? Oh.
Dang, now I don't remember. So it's a really tiny restaurant just in an old house. So I don't know how many tables were there. Probably no more than 12.
Maybe 12.
So it's always sold out so fast, and they don't even put their menu on the website because I think it changes. And it's an Asian fusion kind of thing. Oh boy, that was good. That was really good. Well, let me tell you about my cocktail. I had what they called an Asian mule. So it had ginger in it, and on the rim they had like wasabi salt. That was delicious. And cucumber in there, cucumber juice. I normally don't like cucumber, but with the ginger and the wasabi, It was good. It was good. I
I
would go
remember.
back for that.
I don't remember mine, but I remember that bowl of ramen I had.
Yeah, you had ramen.
So delicious.
Yes.
Can we go back there right now?
Yeah, we need to go back there. We might have to make reservations a long time ahead, but it was very, very good. Anyways, we took some photos during graduation. Let's share some photos from the big day. We had to get up super early because the ceremony starts at 8 a.m. Yeah, so we were up at 6 o'clock to get out there and get a spot. And she did her thing. The girl has graduated. Now our youngest has graduated college. That is a big accomplishment. And of course, Gisela came to share in the celebration. And Kobe was a part of it as well, of course. He got his own cap and kind of a sort of a gown.
Kobe Witherspoon.
This is a professor. Didn't he have spectacles too that came with it?
At one point, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I finished the quilt and I just realized, and you quilted it for her, and we didn't take a photo after it was quilted.
Yeah.
This is just the top. So here it is. You saw me work on this together with all of you and giving you tips along the way. It ended up being kind of these 3 rows of t-shirts, but they are not all straight. So, you know, I have some indents and little pockets of blocks and pieces coming out of it. I tied it all together because there was a lot of different colors in just some of the shirts. So I made some bear paw blocks at the top. She loves animals, of course, so these were perfect, and I made them rainbow for my rainbow girl. So she absolutely loved it. And for the back,
That was awesome.
the backing, I used Cuddle. I got special Cuddle. I should go downstairs and get it to show you guys. So I ordered this. I just saw it like a week before. That's why I had to wait for the backing. It was Cuddle that had paw prints. So it was a little bit embossed with paw prints, but it had this light fur on it. But on the back, the actual main fabric was all this rainbow color. So the rainbow color comes through the paws. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. It's so soft, but
Very
it's
cool.
a beast. It's heavy. It's a big quilt and it's heavy, but she loves it. It's like a weighted blanket.
Huge. Huge.
So got it done. Yes, always, you know, last minute. And the quilting design, we need to get a good photo when we get back to Minnesota of that quilt, because he quilted just a really simple design, but these paw prints all over. So it was good. It was success. Down to the wire, but got her done.
Never quilting. Sent her on the way.
Yep. And so, yes, sent her on her way. She is currently driving back to Minnesota with Kobe. Kobe's going to be in the warehouse with us on Thursday. So everybody in the warehouse is excited for Kobe to come back. And Swana, of course, coming back to work too. So she's doing everything, growing up.
Growing up.
Yay!
Growing
I should
up,
be,
growing out.
I should be popping bottles for that. Did my thing.
Good work. Good
But
work.
she did really good. She got some acknowledgments for some of her work, so that was really great. All right, so let's dive into our tip of the day. So this, like I told you, this is a little bit of a series. I broke this down into a few parts, and this is based on a video I did quite a few years ago, and it's probably one of the most viewed videos I have on YouTube. It is piecing accuracy, all of the different things that come into play when you're trying to piece accurately. It is not just about your seam allowance. There are all these other aspects, and all of it matters. All of it matters. So I decided to break it down into smaller parts, dive a little bit deeper. So this first part is all about our fabric. So let's check it out. In this tip of the day, I want to talk about something that I've been talking about for years, and that is piecing accuracy. All of the different things that come into play when we are trying to get our pieces in our quilt sewn together with the best possible accuracy. Now, I did a video on this quite a few years ago, so I thought I would break this down again and go into more detail, kind of an updated information. So this is going to be a few parts. This is part one. In this part, we're going to talk about our fabrics. That is the number one thing, of course, that affects our accuracy is how we choose our fabrics, how we treat our fabrics before we start the quilting process, and of course, how we put them together. So first off, fabric, if you purchase fabric right off the bolt at a quilt shop, it came straight from the fabric mill. At the fabric mill, the fabric is stretched during the printing process. And then after the printing process, it gets rolled onto big rolls. From the rolls, it actually gets put on the bolts by a machine that double folds the fabric and then wraps it onto bolts. So from the start of the printing process until you purchase your fabric at the store, that fabric has not been treated or pressed or been exposed to any kind of water, steam, or heat. So even though your fabric looks really nice and flat right off the bolt, I would highly advise you to not start cutting it until you have given it a really good press. Ideally with a lot of steam. And the reason being, as I said before, the fabric is stretched in the beginning, and so those fibers need to realign themselves, and sometimes some fabrics will shrink a little bit, others will just kind of realign and get back into their original shape. Now, I love a good steam, so I wanted to mention my favorite irons are the Reliable irons. They are really good steam irons. The great thing about them is that you can have different temperatures on the sole plate, but the steam will still be high steam, low steam, whatever you want, no matter what the sole plate temperature is. So we carry the Velocity iron, and then also the Maven, which has a water tank, so you're not carrying the water in the iron. So that is my preference. Of course, you can pre-wash your fabrics. There are a lot of folks that like to pre-wash their fabrics before they start the quilting process, and that's a personal preference. However, if you pre-wash, you still want to iron your fabrics really nicely before you do any cutting. Now, some fabrics will shrink more than others, and that's where the quality comes in. It comes from what that original cloth is, the thread count of that base cloth that the fabric is that is printed before it's printed. So some of them, like I said, will shrink a little bit. Usually fabrics, if they shrink one way more so than the other, because fabric has stronger fibers going one way than the other. You probably recognize that when you rip fabric, that is easier to rip one way than the other. So always, always give it a press. Now, quality in your fabrics is also going to affect your accuracy in sewing. And so if you wanted to use maybe a fabric that is a little less quality than some of your other ones, which I have done multiple times, you still can do that. You just want to make sure to maybe pre-treat that fabric, maybe wash it so that the weave gets a little bit tighter before you use it with other higher quality fabrics. So if you want to pre-wash, like I said, you still have to press everything afterwards. Now, you can also pre-treat your fabric to get even better accuracy. And you can use starch, you can use best press. There's different levels of starches and pre-treatments you can apply to your fabrics to make them more stable, to make them a little bit stiffer so they're easier to work with, especially if you're doing any kind of cutting on the bias, working with triangles or things like that. So that is what I prefer to do whenever I'm doing those kinds of cuts, and I know I'm going to be working with the fabric when it is cut on the bias. That's going to give me more stability and therefore more accuracy. Now, I have done a whole video on using my starching process, and I actually went through a few different brands. And so you can try and you can watch the video and see what type of starch and heaviness you prefer. So Best Press is going to give you just a little bit of weight and a little bit of stability. The next up, I would say, is the Magic Quilting and Crafting Spray. So they're pretty similar, just a very light body. Another light body is the Magic Sizing. I prefer the Magic Sizing for most of mine. If you need extra, you can go as far as doing regular starch, or even if you want it even stiffer than that, Terreal Magic is even stiffer than that. But please go back and watch on my previous tip of the day for my starching process. It is easy and really can make a difference. Now, what if you're working with pre-cuts? Charm packs, layer cakes, jelly rolls. Those fabrics, as they come into the fabric companies or into the mills, they will not be pre-treated at all. They will not be pressed before they get cut. So they come right off those rolls and then they get cut into the shapes. So even though they look nice and flat and pretty accurate, always, always take them out of the pack and give each piece of fabric a good steam press before you start anything. And yes, I mean that too with jelly rolls or strips, 2.5 inch strips, 1.5 inch strips. And no, it takes a little bit more time, but you're gonna really like that you did that, because again, those fabrics are gonna realign. So what happens with that, if you're working with squares, sometimes your squares will not end up squares after you have pressed them. So I also don't recommend pre-cuts that are especially squares or strips if you really do need to use the whole piece, because sometimes you will end up with something that's not a full square. But definitely give all of your pre-cuts a good press, or even some starch too. Now when you're starching, make sure you let it dry completely before you do any cutting, because it needs to be completely dry before you start cutting so that you'll get accurate pieces. Otherwise, they'll keep changing on you as you move through the process. So this is part one. I'm going to talk about the next things that come into the process of getting those accurate pieces as you sew, so your blocks will turn out right. So I'll see you next time. So there it is, fabric, always the first question. And I want to say this, because if you are completely new to quilting and maybe don't know about what I talk about, quality, where can you get quality fabrics, there is such a term in the quilting world called quilt shop quality fabrics. Because those fabric companies that make those higher quality quilting fabrics, quilting cottons, they only sell to independent quilt shops. So what do you mean by independent quilt shops? So they are not sold in chains, such as Joann's, Michael's, Walmart, and places like that. So always make note of that. Doesn't mean that you see maybe a great fabric that you got somewhere, and you can usually tell by the quality. You can tell if it's a lesser quality. So you can see it, maybe they're a little looser weave, maybe they are stiffer and kind of harder to the touch. And I had this question come up, how do you know the thread count of quilting cottons? So usually they don't tell you. And most of them, the quilt shop quality cottons, are very similar. There are a few though that have a higher quality, and I can name one, and that's Art Gallery Fabrics. If you ever sewn with Art Gallery, you can tell that it is a different gray goods. So they call it the base cloth that it's printed on, they call it gray goods. So the thread count of the gray goods are usually similar, but I know Art Gallery use a little bit better quality. And then certain, especially when we talk about solid fabrics. So if you're working with solids don't all come out, they're not all created equal, because a lot of solid fabrics are very low quality, but then it's a matter of the thread count that gives it that higher quality. If you pre-wash one fabric, you need to do the same for all the fabrics in the quilt, right? Not necessarily. So if I had just one fabric that was a lesser quality, a lesser thread count than my others, I've already done, steam pressed all of my other ones, and this one is just, a lesser thread count. I sometimes wash that because what that does, it tightens up that thread count, and it's going to act more like the other ones. So you don't necessarily need to wash the other ones, because my experience is if you really steam press your quilt shop quality cottons, they are not going to shrink that much more in the wash at all. So do wovens shrink? So wovens, what you're probably talking about is yarn dyes. So wovens, all fabric is woven, but we're talking about where the yarns are dyed and then the fabric is woven. So like yarn dyed plaids and things like that. Yes, they do shrink. Again, there are different qualities of yarn dyes, so it's all based on the quality. If you are nervous about it, just make sure you test it. But the quilts that I have made with yarn dyes, I've usually used them all in one quilt, or I've used it as a background, and it really hasn't affected me that much. I didn't pre-wash it or anything. So if you use a quality yarn dye, it should not give you too much trouble. And completely dry before ironing too. Yes, so you can, and I have done this in a hurry, sprayed some best press on some fabric and then try to iron it to dry it. If you're going to do that, iron it with a dry iron. Don't have steam, because the steam is just going to keep it moist and wet. So if you're going to spray something wet and you want to speed up the process of drying, yes, use a dry iron. But here's the deal. Even though we think it's dry, it's still a little damp. So I highly recommend, and I've done this before and I've been bitten before, that the fabric was not completely dry, so I cut into it because I was in a hurry, and then it did change on me a little bit as I went into the process of sewing. So make it completely dry, and this is, if I'm going to use fabric and I know I'm going to make a quilt, I will just do my starching. I will hang it completely to dry. It only needs, a few hours. Usually I just do it at night and hang it overnight, and it's dry in the morning. What about pre-treating scraps? You can do that as well. It's any fabric. So if you're going to be doing little things, using up some scraps, especially if it's, you're a scrappy quilter and you have fabric from all over. Maybe you've been gifted fabric. Maybe you're using something from clothing or things that have been washed a lot. You can pre-treat all of those, because it's just going to be easier to sew with if you're working with different types of weaves and things. So pre-treating of fabrics is always going to increase your accuracy, whether you do it with starch or any of those stabilizers, or just making sure that you really press it well with steam and then let it fully cool down before you cut it. All right, any more questions? So yeah, even though you can't see it listed usually what the thread count of fabric is, you can usually feel it. If you've been sewing for a while, you can feel it. And we all have our preferences. There's some fabric companies that we just love to sew with, and others that we have a little bit more trouble with. But honestly, most fabric companies print their fabrics in the same mills. So it's just all based on the gray goods that they printed on. Okay? Questions? All right. Those are good questions. Good talk. So Sue is asking, there's a coating on the cheaper fabrics and it feels weird. Yeah, so that is, part of the printing process. They may be treated with chemicals or things like that. So you never know. Sometimes it feels like a coating, and sometimes it's just the way that the dyes from the printing process, how they come off. All right, I think that's our questions. Yeah. I'm only looking on YouTube, but great conversations. Thanks, everybody. So I hope the series is gonna be good and eye-opening for some of you. So we'll dive deeper into the next things. Of course, cutting is going to be a part of it. Sewing is going to be a part of it, and all of those little things. Pressing is going to be a part of it. All those things that matter when it comes to piecing accuracy. All right, I ran and got my beautiful cuddle that I use for the backing of the quilt. So check this out. Isn't this cute? Yeah, so it is indented, so it's kind of cut out where the design is, and the rainbow just kind of shows through because the back of it is like this, the back of the cuddle. So it just is very subtle, but of course the paw prints are just everything for this girl. So I have just this little piece left over, and I think it needs to become a pillow. Yeah. You want one?
Yes.
I'm sure. It is so extra soft. It is so soft.
Couch pillow.
Yes, yes. Okay, we have lots to talk about today. So on Monday, we released our last Fast and Furious Season 4 club program, or club pattern, which was the Boardwalk Table Runner. So this one is for the month of May. Now, Fast and Furious Club has been running since September of 2023, 9 months, 9 projects, and this one is number 9. And I am so excited for you to see this one. I have a feeling I'll see lots of these runners in the near future. It's so quick and easy, great size, and easy to use up scraps or grab one of our little bundles and put it together. Now, if you didn't subscribe to the whole season or the 3rd trimester, you can now purchase both the pattern and the video class comes together in a package individually. And I take you through the whole process. Even if you've never done Quilt as you go, this is all Quilt as you go. I would say once you have your fabric cut and you're ready to sew, I would say this takes no more than a couple of hours binding on. It's really quick.
Nice.
And easy. Yeah. Yes. So it's a great, one-day project, great on a weekend, sew day, something like that. So I hope to see those, and make sure you to share your runners in Grinch's Quilt Crew on Facebook. But it is time for a reveal, everybody. So this has been a long time coming. I have a lot of you been asking about the next class packs. Is there going to be another class pack? Now, what is a class pack? This is my version of, our version of online teaching. This is where I take 2 patterns from my books or individual patterns. I put them together into a package of classes. We do both quilts, we break it down, and I give you all the video instruction with some extra tips and ways to do things differently than from when the pattern was originally written. And of course, give you some ideas on how you can use half-yard bundles and make 2 quilts from 1 bundle. So, Class Pack Volume 3, the 2 patterns that I have chosen, the 2 quilts we'll be making are, you may have noticed, they're hanging behind us. Here they are. Volume 3 is going to be Prisms and Frequency. Yes, these 2 quilts have always looked intimidating to folks. And they are so much easier to make than they look. It just takes a little bit of organization, lots of little tips, and it's going to be a piece of cake, as you know. So this will be presented as a set of 3 classes. So we'll do Prisms first in 3 parts, and 1 class releases each week. And then our 4th week, we will do a Zoom day, optional Zoom day, if you want to ask live questions. And then we'll do Frequency in 3 parts, and then follow that with a Zoom day. Prior to both sessions, you will get a cutting video where I talk about all the tools. I'll talk about all of the different things to think about when you pick your fabrics for both quilts. And that releases about 2 weeks before the rest of the class packs or the rest of the sessions. So I think we put together a little video just to show you and explain if you don't know what class packs are, you haven't seen that before. We put together a little video for you. Here we go. I am so excited to kick out this third class pack series featuring the Prisms and Frequency quilts. Now, what is a class pack? This is where I teach you 2 quilts from my previous books over an 8-week period. We make them together, or you can do it at your own time because you will have the videos forever. We start off with 3 sessions of the Prisms quilt where I take you through all of the steps, and then the Frequency quilt follows. In between the sessions, we also host a live Zoom day where you have the chance to ask any questions, show your work, and just interact with the other class participants. I give you all of my tricks and tips and using the Stripology rulers and the Stripology tools alongside, but I also give you some alternate uses of fabric. I will show you how you can make those 2 quilts using a 12-piece half-yard bundle and some additional fabrics for background, sashings, and borders. Come join us and make these 2 spectacular quilts. They are much easier than you think. Yay! Okay, so those of you that have done our previous class packs, Volume 1, we did Katrina and Zoe. Volume 2, we did Lucy and
what's the name?
Velocity. Just a brain freeze for a little bit. Make sure you let us know how you loved the class packs. So somebody asked for the dates. The dates really don't matter because you have the videos forever. So you can keep up or wait until you have time in your life and do it whenever you want. So you will have the videos forever. But the dates are the first cutting video will be live on June 12th. So that is just when the cutting video will be live. And then 2 weeks from that is when we kick it off with the first part of Prisms, which is what? The 26th? Oh. June 26th. Yes. So then we'll do 3 weeks. So weekly on Wednesdays, there's a new video released. And then, so we do 3 weeks of Prisms. 1 week, we have a Zoom day. And then we do 3 weeks of Frequency. And then we have a Zoom day. So throughout all of this too, we create a special Facebook group just for folks in the class. So it would act like a forum. You can ask questions, you can share what you're working on and talk about things that we don't want to talk about, maybe some pertinent information, some pattern questions. And so that's really good to get some bonding throughout that. You get to see a lot of folks working on their quilts and see a lot of different colorways. We love that. The patterns are both included in the class pack. And now, of course, like we always do, you are hearing about this first. So for our really loyal viewers and FAMs, we have a special pricing for you that will be through June 12th. Yeah, June 12th. So when the first video goes live, the price will go up. So up until then, for the next 3 weeks, it is $39.95. $39.95 for 2 big classes, 8 sessions, and of course, you have those videos and patterns. Includes the patterns forever.
She wants to know because she used her.
You can use whatever you want, whatever fabrics you want. Now, of course, if you purchase today or whenever you purchase, these are all digital products, so videos will be in your account, patterns will be in your account, but not yet. Right now, if you purchase now, what will be in your account is fabric requirements. So it'll have the fabric requirements for both quilts, and you have the fabric requirements if you want to utilize our half-yard bundles to make both quilts. So I was able to cut my Prisms blocks out of a half-yard bundle, and then the rest of the bundle I used to cut my strips for my Frequency quilt. Now I'm using a different sashing for my Prisms and a different background for my Frequency, so they look quite different, but it's always fun. Is Prisms beginner friendly? So it is a little bit trickier because we do have a little bit more matching, and that's what I try to choose in my class packs are quilts that are, you know, look intimidating, but they really aren't, to give you those extra tips and tricks to help you along the way. But I wouldn't say complete beginners. I would try some of my other patterns first. Will it be able to use 2.5-inch strips? For frequency, yes, 2.5-inch strips, not for prisms. Prisms, you'll be able to, so the pattern is written for 10-inch squares, but they have to be accurate 10-inch squares. You have to start with a 10 by 10. But I'm going to show you exactly how you can cut it a little bit differently and sew it a little bit more efficiently than with 10-inch squares. So you don't have to cut your half yards into 10-inch squares. Just wait for the cutting video.
Let Brenda know she don't have to just be on Facebook.
It's not on Facebook. You don't have to be on Facebook. For the forum, yes. So the Facebook group is, of course, on Facebook, but the live Zoom day is nothing connected to Facebook, so you'll be able to ask questions there, interact. And then, of course, if you have any questions throughout, you can always email us to our help email, and we'll help you out. No problem. Or call us. Okay, any other questions?
Our phone number is,
So some of the things, you know, phone number. It is on our website, but only during regular business hours. We do not answer 24/7 or on the weekends.
To your microphone.
Oh.
Oh.
I think it's your fault.
That's me.
What are you doing?
Oh.
You're hitting buttons and pulling out cords over there?
Cord came out and it was, okay, anyway.
So what I wanted to say is how I created the first class pack. I wanted to join some of the great parts about having video classes with some of the parts that are great about being in person. So when we do a virtual class, if it's live, it's really hard to instruct and it's really hard to do a demo because you only get to see it once. And that's also happens when you're teaching live. You do a demo, you see it once, and then it's gone. But of course, you have these videos forever, just like we do with our retreats and we do with our sew-alongs. You can go back and watch them again and again and again and pause and take you through all those kind of tricky parts. And so that is really the great thing about the class packs. You can have those videos forever. And then we have that opportunity in those live Zoom days. If there is a question, maybe you need to show me something, just like we do in our retreats, that is the live and interactive part. Yes, the videos will be in your account. Like I said, they will be released weekly. So what you will get right now, if you purchase now, is the fabric requirements and the release schedule. So you'll have the whole schedule on what comes out on what day. So you can just look in your email, look in your account on GE Quilt Design. So log in, go to your downloadable files, find the GEZ class packs, and that's where the videos will all come in. Now, if you have never purchased digital product from us before, like a PDF pattern or anything with a video, make sure you go to our FAQs and watch Mr. HP's video that he created to guide you to find your downloads and to how to view your videos. So it changed a little bit with our new website, but it's really excellent. You just have to understand it, how you scroll down and find the video player.
Yeah.
Choose your videos. All right, any other questions? Everybody is commenting they've loved previous class packs. Yeah, and the thing is, it's great because they're a week apart. Each step is a week apart, so some of us just love that little bit of a pressure to keep up because it pushes you through a project.
Take your time. Take your time.
Well, but you know, it's okay to have a little bit of pressure. You want to get finished. But then it's not really necessary. So if something comes up, it's no big deal. You'll have those videos forever.
Take your time.
But the pacing is good. And that's what folks have said to me. I think it's a totally 50-50. Those that love the flexibility, they can do this whenever, a year from now, 2 years from now, no big deal. They can go back and do it. And then others have told me they really love kind of the little bit of pressure to have homework for the week and do it live and alongside me. I'm, of course, sewing quilts alongside you, too. So And that's what I love as well. And that's so much fun to revisit those patterns, because the Prisms pattern, for example, came out back in 2016, before the XL ruler was available, before the squared ruler was available. That pattern was written for the original Stripology ruler. So I love having the newer rulers with all the extra features to be able to make this quilt again. Recommendations for fabric for the first pattern. I would say hang on. You can purchase the class pack. You can look at the fabric requirements, and then wait for that video on June 12th, because I talk a lot about fabrics, some things to consider, how to pick your fabrics for the blocks, and so on. Can we use rewards or gift certificates to pay for the class packs? Absolutely, you can. Yes, absolutely can.
Yay!
All right.
The pattern's the same as the book?
Yes, if you have the book, the pattern will be the same, but of course, I add a lot of little tricks and tips in the videos and give you those instructions. And if there's any tweaks along the way, if I'm tweaking something, like in the cutting instructions, you will have that on a downloadable sheet in your account as well.
Tricks
Comes
and
with
tips. You want those
yes.
tricks and tips.
We have been filming so much, you guys. It's been a nonstop filming, and so sometimes, you know, I get just word soup in my mouth. Things just get a little scrambled.
I'm going to put out a bloopers video.
No, please don't. But one of the things that we couldn't stop laughing. I talk about tips and tricks all the time, but I guess in one segment I said, what did I say? Trips and ticks. So all of my trips and ticks are going to be included too, and the tips and the tricks, but also the trips and the ticks.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I missed
bloopers.
The
Bloopers.
Robin missed the dates. What are the dates for the new class pack?
June 12th is when the cutting video goes live. June 26th is when the first pattern gets released.
There you go, Robin.
Yeah. So can we put up the photos of the quilts? So the Prisms that's hanging behind you.
Prisms in there?
That's the original, the one hanging behind you.
Oh, wait, where'd they go?
There they are. So Prisms also has a nickname. This was always called my horse quilt because I photographed it with a horse. No horses on the pattern or in the fabric. But, so this is the original. This was made with Janet Claire fabrics. And there's another version I did with Christmas fabrics. So one of the things that you want with the fabrics for your block is to create contrast. You don't necessarily have to have lights and darks, but you want to put two fabrics in a block that have contrast so you can really see those blocks. So that's what I would recommend for Prisms. You can choose that sashing fabric later once all your blocks are done, but that sashing fabric needs to stand out from all of the other ones to really make the blocks shine. And then you add a border or not. We are going to discuss some options for borders for the Prisms quilt. Now the frequency is made with 2.5-inch strips and a background. So this one I use just very bright strips and almost white, a tone-on-tone background. So I wanted that background to really fall back. I wanted the bright color to stand out, but you can use any kind of background with frequency. You can use dark, you can use light, you can use a colored one. You can even use a little bit of a print. As long as every single strip is going to stand out from that background, it's going to be really, really good. So I am going to be working with Flirtation is the bundle that I'm working with, which is from Zen Chic. And I'm using a light gray background for my frequency. I'll show you all that in the video. And then it's a little bit of a surprise how I'm going to finish my Prisms. But as far as tools, if you want to get ready now, I'm going to talk about all this in the video that comes out on the 12th. But if you want to get ready now, so one of the tools for the frequency quilt, you need the Stripology XL ruler. Yes, we need that 60-degree line. It is written for that ruler, so we really, really need that. You can use the original Stripology. You can. there's just going to be a little bit more tweaking, but XL ruler is the key for that one. The Prisms quilt is in the Stripology Squared book. You do not, if you want to do a class back, you do not need to buy the books. Unless you have them already, of course you can look at the patterns, read through the patterns, but the patterns will be a part of the class. But so tools, yeah, XL ruler and also point trimmers. So our point trimmers are going to come in real handy, especially that 60-degree one is the one we're going to be using. Now the book, the mixology book that Frequency is in, came out before the point trimmers. So that's what I was really excited about. It's going to be a game changer putting that quilt together to have the point trimmers. Now, they're not a need, but they are going to be very helpful.
But they make things G-easy.
Oh, and speaking of G-easy, ruler stickers.
Oh, yeah.
Absolute necessity. I probably used 4 or 5 different colors in both of those quilts. So both color packs are going to be a real help. And absolutely the organizing stickers and clips for the Frequency quilt.
Oh, yeah.
You saw me clipping those parts. It is a key ingredient. And it's funny because I've taught that before and we didn't have that. And I got an email for somebody that took that class months after the class. She didn't keep her pieces organized. I was trying to figure out what was what. I mean, it's easy to figure it. You can figure it out, but it's going to be a game changer. So check that out. Some other tools, obviously, I love my piecing pins, my green flathead Taylor Seville pins. I love those. I use those a lot. I'm going to use those in the videos. If you have tweezers, those little tweezers, I'm going to be using those. Not necessary,
what about
but
those little scissors?
the little green scissors. I use those.
My favorite.
Oh, love those.
I did never think I'd love.
Yeah,
scissors.
they are. I mean, these are the bigger ones, but it's the Karen K. Buckley green little snips. They're over by my sewing machine, of course, always. And new blade, new sewing machine needles, all of that good stuff. What am I forgetting? Am I forgetting something? I did pre-treat my fabrics. It is a good idea to do that. I use some magic sizing, best press. It's going to be very helpful. All right.
Yep.
Awesome. I think that's it for questions.
Pretty much.
We good on questions. Just wanted to talk briefly about our FanFest. We have, I mentioned the Nina's class, free motion class, just has a few more spots. We still have spots open for the evening lecture, fun, after hours party on Friday night. And the VIP package, we are down to just a few, but we still have some packages left. The VIP package includes, of course, it includes the evening lecture on Friday and a special make and take on Friday as well, earlier in the day, swag bag with a bunch of good stuff, and then you get to go into the sale tent first on Saturday morning. I wanted to put out a call for volunteers. We are looking for volunteers already, so if you are interested in volunteering for FanFest, please email us at help@gequiltdesigns.com and we will get you a spot. We really appreciate it if you want to help out. So we're going to have lots of stations, lots of fun.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, I have some new fabric, new-ish fabric. It's a classic, something we've had before, but the combination of these fabrics is new. It is how the Grinch stole Christmas. Some of our favorite prints are back. So I joined them into a bundle of 12. So we have the cream Merry Christmas one with the tree and the sleigh, all that good stuff. We have the small print with the garlands. We have 3 creams in here. And then the wreaths. So these we had previously, but not in this combination. Then we have the beautiful bright red, the families with the tree and the Grinch. We have his dog. What was his name? Oh, I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Huh?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
Nope. Somebody will tell me.
And then another red that has a little bit of an orange tint to it, but really nice. And then this one is my favorite, probably.
Max.
Max, there it is, Max.
Thanks, Chris.
Here is that all over print. I love the fun labels, how the Grinch Stole Christmas, and it's kind of the countdown, so 12 days of Christmas print.
Everybody knows the name.
I know. It's because I'm going to blame it on the live. We have to think on the fly, and so all my brain goes away. We have the beautiful darker green with the Grinch faces, and then we have two prints in the Grinch green. This is such a fun quilt to make for the kids for the Christmas season.
Now I can hear him saying Max.
Max, here's Max again on the green. And then we have the light blue Grinches, naughty or nice, happy holidays. And one more, all the Whovillians. People of Whoville in that little bit darker blue. So 12 prints, 3 in the creams, and then we got all of the other colors. And so I did a fabric pull. I did some red with chalk and charcoal in the cardinal, and then to go a little bit with that more orangey red, the floral elements in the flame is a great option. For the darker green, the seeds in the grass color, I like it because it has so much white in it, so it's not so harsh. And then also the dimples in the fern is a great match as well. It has some of the lighter tones too, so it tones well with the chartreusey greens. So then for the Grinch greens, dreams in the chartreuse, or the floral elements in the kiwi. Both great, perfect matches here. For the blues, the light blue, I chose Spectrostatic and the baby blue. It's a perfect match with that light blue. And for the darker one, this is Cracked Shadow in the Moonstone. Another great blue. A really great blue. I gotta move this over. Here we go, so you can see these blues. For the creams, like I said, and not fully white, it's very cream. The dry brush and the whipped cream is perfect. Almost a perfect match, or the grunge and the eggshell. If you want to add more light, use them as a background. And then as a perfect accent, focus print, there's, of course, black everywhere. So a little bit more charcoal is the canvas and the ebony, or grunge and the black dress, or a little bit harsher, darker black. So this is how the Grinch Stole Christmas. So we do have, also came in a panel, 2 panels. This one is really fun. So it's Grinch with the ho, ho, ho behind him, holding a garland, I guess. So this is a full, so 40, probably about 42-inch long, about 27 inches wide, perfect for either the back or as a centerpiece. And then we got a tree skirt panel that is adorable. So all you got to do is quilt it up, and we got it quilted up, and find it, cut through the center, and find the edges. And this is so cute. Really, I know this is gonna fly. Oh, you're gonna sing it?
Christmas, Christmas. That's right.
Keep it up, keep it up. They won't mute us if you're singing.
That's the song.
Yeah. You know, I don't watch a lot of movies, but I did watch The Grinch this year.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. I think that was the newer version that I just watched.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was a good movie.
The new version that came out 50 years
Yeah, I know. I'm so bad. Anyway, so that is our new fabric. We have the warehouse, I guess, is full of new fabric. So I can't wait to get back there. We are getting there this week. So we're just finishing up some last projects here and packing up and heading back, at least for a little bit. Tomorrow, Colleen will have her 1 Yard Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. That's May 22nd. Make sure you check her out. Tomorrow is going to be a little bit of a theme, so check it out. It's going to be a bag theme. Colleen loves her bags, and so make sure you check out the show. It's got some great samples for you.
Awesome show.
Inspiration. And then I want to finish it with our giveaway question. So since we were talking about all those tips and what's in our sewing rooms, what non-sewing item is a staple in your sewing room? Is there something that you use all the time in your sewing room that is really not a sewing item? I probably have lots.
My chair.
Well, that doesn't count. I'll tell you one thing. A lint roller. Something I use almost on a daily basis in my sewing room.
That's huge. That's huge.
And duct tape. Duct tape.
That's huge.
Always duct tape. So our next show will be this Friday. We'll be live from Minnesota, live from GE headquarters at 12 noon. That's going to be May 24th. Kicking off the Memorial Day weekend with everybody, Memorial Day weekend here in the U.S. So which means Monday we're going to be closed. Monday is a holiday. And we'll be back next Tuesday following, that's going to be May 28th at 4 p.m. Central. That's going to be our Tipsy Tuesday show.
I love these.
So,
my TV.
Thank you. Oh, TV is a non-sewing item. I love it. Well, we appreciate that because hopefully you're watching some Tipsy Tuesday shows on your TV.
iPad.
Well, that's it for us today.
Interfloss.
We'll see. We'll see you all on Friday, everybody. Thank you for watching. Bye.